Good morning. Hopefully I can make a video without starting to cry again. But hey, if I cry, I cry, right? Right. First of all, let's discuss the shirt of the day. Hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit. Cog Hill Farm. Do y'all follow Cog Hill Farm? They're on Facebook and YouTube. They're a farm family. Duh. They have all kinds of sweet animals. It's a very sweet channel. He gardens and plants life. Penny walks faster than Charlie did. Holy crap. I gotta get my endurance built back up. I'm used to meandering along. Anyway, he gives a lot of tips about how to plant, how to cultivate, how to, I don't know what you call it. Take two plants and put them together. I don't know. He's a fantastic farmer, gardener. Their daughter, Mary Carl, is like the bird lady. I mean, she's like 12. So she's not really a lady, but bird girl sounds a little weird. Well, so does bird lady, but whatever. Anyway, she knows everything there is to know about birds. They have peacocks. They have Victoria crown pigeons, which are very rare. They have lots of other pigeons. So they sent Lester one of these shirts hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit. And I busted out laughing. Oh, please stand by. Anyway, I busted out laughing and I was like, I've got to have that shirt. Because if y'all will remember, I talked about that a few weeks ago. Anyway, I thought it was really cute and I love the color. Someone asked me my favorite color the other day. Blue and green and everything in between. Mostly blue would be my favorite color. But this is a very close second. Especially this Kelly green color. I love it. Anyway, not the point. I don't know what the point is. Well, I want to tell you, if I can, what happened to Sir Charles. Now look, I have cried probably since Friday. I saw it going downhill, but not to the degree it was on Sunday. I don't think I'm like technically cried out, because I don't think there's such a thing, but if there is such a thing, I'm there. Anyway, I think I can at least talk now, because I couldn't talk this weekend about any of it. So y'all know he wasn't walking as well and he would lay down a lot. And I thought, you know, his hips were going out. I was giving him CBD oil for pain. Hold on just a second. But he was just getting to where he was laying around more. And I thought, well, you know, he's old. We all get to laying around more, right? Then it got to where I'd go to take them for a walk. He would go into the front yard and he would potty and then he would just lay down and he would not move. I was like, okay. So I'd pick him up, take him back in the house, and then I'd take her for a walk. That was probably Thursday afternoon, Friday. I'm like, okay. You know, he's still eating, drinking, peeing, and doing the other. He was still doing all the things. I was like, okay, he's just hurting. I'll make him a vet appointment and, you know, get him checked out. It wasn't DEFCON 4 or DEFCON 1, whichever. I don't know the way that goes, but anyway. Well, I already had that trip planned to Cave Springs on Saturday, and to be honest, I needed to get out of the house, and I needed that long drive of peace and quiet. You know, sometimes you just have to get away to clearly see things. Hold on. So anyway, I go to Cave Spring and I come home and he's the same. He sounded a little labored in his breathing. It wasn't anything extreme, but I was like, okay, what is this? Tiny little things keep happening that I'm like, you know, what is this? He didn't want to eat anything Saturday afternoon when I got home. I didn't stay as long as I could have. I was ready to get back home. So anyway, so I go to Chick-fil-A. And y'all, sometimes I use humor to keep me going, okay? That's just how I am. Anyway, I go to Chick-fil-A and I got nuggets. Because when he wouldn't eat anything else, he would eat chicken nuggets. I got the nuggets. I brought them home. He ran over to me, so excited. And, that's so much better. He probably ate, I don't know, 3 or 4 nuggets, which I was happy with that. I threw down treats during the day. These are not rawhide treats. I don't give them rawhide treats. These are just chewy treats. So anyway, I had thrown them down. So I didn't know if he had eaten one of those while I was gone, because let me tell you something. If I throw them down and he don't eat one, Penny is gonna eat them. She's gonna eat them all because she's a little bit of a piglet. I was like, okay. Still drinking water, still doing all the business. Saturday. Sunday we wake up and I can tell he just does not feel good at all. His breathing was a little bit more labored. He would still drink water a little. Now he didn't drink water Sunday from about noon for the rest of the day. And I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. So when I tell y'all that I cried all day Sunday, I cried all day Sunday because I knew, when they stopped drinking water. So I even Googled, how do you know when it's time? Basically it said, when they have no interest in their treats, check. Why are these fogging up? I guess I'll just go like this. That's fine. I don't need to see. And it said something about their breathing being labored. And I'm like, check, 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 check. He has all of these. I looked up a service that will come to your house to put him to sleep, right? And I just kept thinking, no, that's not what I want to do. I talked to my boss and she was like, well, take him to his vet tomorrow because maybe it's not as bad as you think. Maybe they can do something. Maybe he's dehydrated. And I was like, I don't think he's dehydrated. I mean, he could have been a little dehydrated, but up until that time on Sunday from noon to bedtime, he didn't drink any water, but he got up the next morning and drank water. So Monday morning, I called the vet, and of course still, crying and snotting and doing all the things, and they said, we will squeeze you in at 1:45. Now, I don't know how they squoze me in, because when I got there was nobody in the lobby. As far as I could tell, there was only one other patient there in a room. So, I don't know. But anyway, and this is where I'm going to really try not to cry. Yeah, I'm not going to cry, because I'm a big girl. I am not going to cry. I'm going to take a sip of tea and get this lump out of my throat, okay? I need a longer straw. So they took him out. They brought him back in. She came in. I could tell when she walked in the door. But y'all, when I tell you, I already knew. You know your animals. And if you don't know your animals, you're not spending enough time with them. But I knew. I knew it was time. She said, well, we have a couple of options. She said, I can draw blood. I can do diagnostics. We would have to send him somewhere to have an ultrasound because we don't have an ultrasound machine. We can do all these things to find out what is wrong. But I'm going to tell you, after however many years of being a veterinarian, I can tell you what's wrong without all that. I said, okay. She said, I believe he has a tumor in his stomach that has ruptured. So basically it has filled his stomach up with blood, and it's pressing on his lungs and his heart, and that's what's making it so difficult. I said, okay. She said, or I said, my mind's already there. I'm ready. I mean, you're never ready, but I'm ready. So she said, okay. So they brought me in some paperwork to sign. I had to choose if I wanted to be in the room. Absolutely. I had to choose whether I wanted him to be cremated with a bunch of other animals and not get the ashes, or choose for him to be cremated alone and get his ashes. So that's what I chose. His ashes will be back next Tuesday. Dang it. So I went ahead and made Penny an appointment on Wednesday because she needs to get her shots and all that stuff anyway. So she came back in and she gave him the first shot. And this is where it's a little bit funny. I mean, the conversation, not that. She left me with him, you know, for a while, and then she came in and asked, was I ready? No. But yeah. So the first shot was propofol, which is just something they give you. I think that was the first shot. I don't know. The first shot was to sedate him, and then the second shot was the one that put him to sleep. But I mentioned propofol because she said something about propofol, and I laughed because this is who I am. I try to think of funny things to divert my attention from what's going on, right? All the while holding him. Not holding him, but, you know. So anyway, I said, well, when my mom was here, she had trouble sleeping. And this was during the whole Michael Jackson thing. You know, he was taking that propofol to help him sleep, and I guess they gave him too much and it killed him. So my mom would say, I wish I could just get some of that propofol to help me sleep. And I said, well, because, you know, when they put you to sleep, that's a good sleep. I mean, that's a good sleep. Especially that twilight, whatever, because you wake up feeling pretty good. Anyway, I said, my mom always said, you know, she wished she could get some to help her sleep at night. And I said, all because of the Michael Jackson thing. And she laughed. But here's what she said. And I busted out laughing. She said, speaking of Michael Jackson, she said, when my daddy died, she said, I was over at the house helping Mama with something. And she said it was right after Michael Jackson had passed away. And she said, my mom said, well, I hope your daddy's down there enjoying Michael Jackson. And I was just standing there smiling, and then I was like, down there? And she said, I wondered how long it would take you. I said, down there? She said, yeah. She said, I said, Mama. And she said, I said what I said. I laughed so hard. I needed that laugh, you know. I mean, I belly laughed over that. She said, you know, these old people, they'll say anything. It was so funny. But anyway, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. The last thing she said to Charlie was, run, baby, Jesus. She said, run, baby, Jesus is waiting on you. She said, I know for a fact animals go to heaven and nobody can tell me any different. She said, you can't tell me that a loving God would create these animals for us to love and care for and then not allow them into heaven. She said, you can't convince me of that. She said, because our God is too loving for that. Anyway, I started out this day okay, and I'm going to be okay. I really am. But another thing she said when she was talking about what was wrong with him, I said, well, you know, I got him 12 years ago this month, of course. They said he was about a year old. I said, but do you remember the first time I brought him to you? He was 9 years old. Hi, it's the end of the day, and I was just going back through and editing this video, and I realized that I got to this one part, and then I took a derailment, and I never came back to finish the sentence that I started, and then I thought of another funny story associated with this that I wanted to tell you. So I'm back, okay? Let's get back on the tracks, okay, and keep on choo-chooing. All right, so anyway, I said, if you'll remember when I first brought him here, he was 9 years old, and you looked at his teeth, and you looked at me and said, are you sure he's 9 years old? And she said, I do remember that. And I said, so I really don't know how old he is. I said, because you go by the teeth, and he had his adult teeth in when I adopted him, so he was over a year old. But since his teeth were in such great condition at 9, he could have already been well over 1. And she said, well, I would say, just by guessing, that he's more like 15 years old. I said, okay, that makes more sense, I guess. I mean, it made me feel a little bit better that he was older, because a small dog, 13's not that old. But anyway, the other funny thing that happened, and I just remembered it today when I was telling Lisa, but when she came in to tell me, of course I start crying, and she said, hold on, let me get you a Kleenex, right? So she runs over to where the cabinet is, and then she opens the door and she tells somebody out in the hall. She said, could you bring me a box of Kleenex? Well, she takes the little top off, and then she reaches in to pull me a Kleenex out. You know, she's trying to be the consoling doctor, and she pulls out just this little tear of paper, and she went, ah. So she reaches in to get another Kleenex, and she tore off another piece of paper. Well, I started laughing because that's just me. I just try to find a happy moment in a sad moment, you know? And then she did it again, and she tore another piece of paper, and she said, whoa. And she just handed me the whole box of Kleenex. She said, just get your own. Because by this point, I was dying laughing. So she knew that she could do that, you know? Anyway, so I pulled me a Kleenex out and used it, but I just thought that was so funny. So between that and the Michael Jackson comment, I was cracking up. But anyway, that was the end of that, and she did her thing, and she left, you know, me with him, and then I went and checked out, and I've made Penny an appointment. She's going next Wednesday, and that his ashes will be ready for me to pick up. And yeah, that's that. So anyway, I just wanted to tell y'all what happened to him. I mean, even though the weekend seemed like it was never going to end, I think it all happened fairly quickly, or at least from what I saw, it happened fairly quickly. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that he didn't have to suffer for very long. I am still going to cry, and I still have moments, of course, that I am just punched in the gut. And that's, you know, that's going to continue for a little while, but I'm okay. I'm okay. My boss told me today that she had 2 dogs, and she had to have one put down. And the vet told her when she had that one put down, he said, change your habits, change your routines for the other one. And I said, well, that makes sense, because last night, every night I would sit on the floor and I would brush him, and then Penny would start bringing me her toys, and I would throw her toys, right? Well, last night I sat on the floor, and she just stopped, and she started looking around like, where is he? And that's the first time she had, like, really looked for him. I kept trying to get her to bring me her toy, and she wouldn't bring me her toy. And I couldn't even get her to come to me to brush, and I mean, she just went and laid down. She was like, you know, she didn't really know what to do. But on the other side of that, she never would eat until he ate his dinner. And I put her food down last night, and she went and ate it. So hopefully that part will be over. Maybe she'll just put down what I eat her. Maybe she'll just eat what I put down when I put it down, and that will be great. But she's a dog food eater. She doesn't like people food. The oddest thing ever. But I'm very happy about that. So that's that for the most part. I'm so much better today than I was Sunday. I think for me, preparing for it, and is this the right decision? Am I making the right decision? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Just kept going over and over in my head, you know. Even though I felt like it was the right decision, I guess my heart knew it was the right decision, but my head kept trying to, you know, fight with my heart or something like that. But anyway, when she came in and said that it was, you know, she believed it was a tumor that had ruptured in his belly, I was like, I'm making the right decision. So you just got to trust your heart, not your head sometimes, you know. But anyway, that's that. I hope y'all have had a great day. I had a decent day. I teared up a few times and I felt gut punched a few times. But other than that, it was a decent day. So I'm going to go walk Miss Penny, who's laying here beside me. And she was very happy to see me when she got home. By the way, I drug the bed over in front of the door so she could lay on the bed today and watch out the door. And I thought, well, gosh, that'll be nice for her because Charlie always laid at the door. And when I got home, guess who was laying on the bed but Gracie. So Gracie has taken Charlie's place at laying at the door and guarding the house. Anyway, thanks for listening, and thanks for loving me. Thanks for loving us. And I will talk to you on the next Tracy Tries. Remember that I love you, and Jesus loves you, and I hope he's coming back soon. Okay, goodbye. I'm hanging up first. Okay, bye.